let's drop that link one more time in case anyone didn't see it, to get attendance put in and your name entered for the raffle. Putting your name more than once won't mean you'll get more entries. So that's where we're going to start. We're really happy to have you here. We're really excited to share this information with you so you can be prepped for whatever you're planning to do, or maybe if you're not sure what you're doing next year, you have a plan for backup. So today we're going to go through introductions so you know everybody who's here, a quick-ish presentation on the 2 financial aid applications available in Washington State, question and answer time. So if you have any questions, or if we see a lot of them popping up in the chat that we want to bring up to the whole group, we'll go ahead and make time for that throughout the presentation. And at the end, there's individual work time where you can work with people one-on-one for financial aid help filling out those applications. So we've got a bunch of great volunteers here who are coming from all the colleges in our area that are willing to lend their expertise to us this morning and help you out and fill those applications out. All right, so the Zoom norms that we have, I feel bad that I'm looking over to the side where my actual screen is. But the Zoom norms, if you have a general question during the presentation that you don't mind sharing with everybody, go ahead and put it in the chat to everyone so that they can see. We'll be answering questions as we go. If you have a personal question, because we know we're going through information that's very private and personal to families, go ahead and send a private message to one of the hosts, and we'll be more than happy to chat with you about your question. After the presentation, we're going to have that work time for assistance. The way that, oh, I forgot to erase this, but if you would like individual help, send a message to Mr. Creeley. He has changed his name to Chat as a helpful markation of who you should be reaching out to. He should be one of your only 2 choices, and then let him know, I need help, or I would like to talk to someone one-on-one, so that you can get into a Zoom room. And also, if you are looking for assistance in Spanish, let Mr. Creeley know and he'll be able to direct you. I wish I had learned to say that in Spanish, but I did not have the forethought to go forward with that. So who is here? We have, as I mentioned, a lot of special guests from area colleges. So I'm just gonna go through by college and all the reps can introduce themselves. So we'll start with Bellevue.
Hi, I'm Jennifer from Bellevue College, and I've been an advisor there about 7 years.
I think that's all from Bellevue.
Yeah, it's all from Bellevue.
He's there too. I can't. Oh. He's not. Oh, we can't hear you though.
Oh, Eric.
Unmute.
There you are.
Oh, there we go.
We got it? Okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Arik Reina. I'm the college navigator at Bellevue College. And I also have experience in financial aid as well, too.
Next, we have representatives from Green River.
I'll go first, everyone. Hi, my name's Anna Brocious. I use she, her pronouns, and I work at Green River College in the financial aid office. I'm the outreach specialist, so I work a lot of one-on-one with students and also doing presentations out in the community. So super excited to be here today. And then I'll hand it off to my colleague, Sean, who's also here.
Morning, everybody. Excited to be here with you all. My name's Sean Warner. I use he, his pronouns. I am a financial aid coordinator at Green River and here to answer questions and make sure this day is all about you. Thanks.
And last but not least, Renton Technical College.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Paulson. I'm one of the student success specialists at Renton Tech. So I know a little bit about financial aid, but can definitely walk you through the application steps that you might need to be thinking about as you enter college, and happy to be here.
And we also have a student volunteer who used to go to Hazen, an alum, who is available to help and volunteered his time as well. I don't know if you asked if he wanted to introduce himself, Mr. Creeley. I don't want to put him on the spot.
I didn't, but I think, Jose, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm using my phone right now, but I'm a student at UW-Bothell. I'm a freshman, and I can help in WASFA applications. Yeah.
And then, of course, we had, thank you so much for being here. It's really great to have a former student who's like living the college life actually talk to students about it. And we have Hazen staff here if we want to go quickly down the line of the list on the slide. It starts with Mr. Nguyen.
Hey guys, I'm Mr. Nguyen. Most of you guys probably know of me. I'm the college and career specialist, so I'm here to answer any questions you might have regarding the financial application.
Hi everyone, and I'm Ms. Chow. I'm the GIP coordinator, so I'll be working with the freshman class, but I am here to support you in anything and learn how to do everything that Mr. Nguyen does. He does a lot, so I'm here to support him as well, and your counselors.
Hey seniors, it's Mrs. Like. We're just really glad that you're here again. I work with seniors last names A through E, and the letter Z.
Miss Muto, I work with students with last names F through L. Don't know why I looked at the screen like I didn't know my caseload.
And I'm Mr. Creeley. I work with students with last names M through RI, and my expertise is jokes.
I'm Miss Lally. I am working with seniors with the last names RO through Y, and I also specialize in jokes.
Have to have a competition at the end of this. So thank you so much to everyone who's volunteering their time for us today to help get this information out there. So just before we start, make sure you have something to write notes with, or passwords, usernames, all that fun stuff to have a way to kind of get back into your information. It's just helpful. Even your phone. I forgot to include that on there. I'm sure that's the recording of a device of choice for many. Just before we get started, your information that you share on these financial aid applications is confidential. It is protected by FERPA laws. So there's no reason to worry that it's going to be shared with other institutions aside from the colleges you're applying to or the people you're choosing to share it with. We know that this is a lot of sensitive information, but please know that it's protected. So the first question, and you guys maybe already did this in your homeroom classes, but which application are you filling out? There's two in Washington State. There's WASFA and FAFSA. We have a quick breakdown of who would do each one. So if you're a citizen or a permanent resident with a green card, you most likely are filling out the FAFSA. If you're filling out the WASFA, you are maybe undocumented, but a resident for at least a year and earning your high school diploma in Washington. If you're not sure which one you should be doing, there is a quiz, and Mr. Creeley is going to drop that link for you. And you could take that quiz and see which one and know for sure which application you should be completing. We're going to go through both. Gonna move on. This is some information that y'all received in your emails for the information that it's helpful to have gathered already if you're ready to start your application. So I'm not gonna leave it up too long. If you were able to create, Mr. Creeley, did you drop the slide deck link? Okay, if you want to get into the slides, you'll be able to click any links or stay on this slide for as long as you want to be able to gather that information. And it also went out in those emails, but this is the information that they're going to ask you for throughout this process. So I'm going to just jump right into the WASFA. So if you know that you are filling out the WASFA, this section is for you. So the first thing you're going to do is go to the website to create an account if you have not done so already. They're going to ask you some eligibility questions, and you might have already answered them in the quiz, but they're going to ask them again just to make sure that the WASFA is the right application for you. You should only be filling out one financial aid application. Do not fill out both. It does not qualify you for more. Fill out only the one that is for you. When you're doing the WASFA, it's going to have you create an account. You're going to have to create email, password, enter some information. If you don't have any of the numbers that they're listing, leave them blank. It's okay. Make sure you're applying for the right year. This is a mistake a lot of students make their first time filling it out. You want to be applying for the year that you're starting college. So that's next year. Don't apply for this year. You want to apply for next year. Here's just some helpful tips. You're going to see this slide next, but it shows you that on the side you have the navigation that tells you what section that you're in, and you can leaf through the pages on the top right. So you can always go back and fix things. You're going to be asked to provide some information about yourself, some basic information, name, gender, date of birth. If you don't have any of the numbers that they're asking for, you don't have to put anything. So if you don't have a license number, you don't have a DACA number, you don't have to put that number in. You can leave it blank. Again, if you want to open the slide deck and follow, I know I'm going fast through this, but we just want to leave enough time at the end for you all to have work time. So there's a section that determines whether or not you're a dependent or independent student, and that determines whether they need to ask you for parent information or not. Most of you will probably need to provide parent information. The next section can be kind of tricky because it's asking for income, but it's asking for student income. So that means you. There's a different section where they ask for parent income. So that's not this. So any child support, any income that your family makes, that's not what they're asking for here. They want to know if you made any income as a student. And make sure that you click that free and reduced lunch if you receive it at school. It will ask you some information about your family's household, not your household, your family's household. So the last one, if you saw, it asks for your household size, but it's asking you and not your, so you're going to put 1, but the next one asks about your family. The next one's going to ask for more information about your family. If your parent doesn't have a social security number, put all zeros. It's okay if you put all zeros, and it gives you a little reminder to do that as well. Make sure that you're putting in the information accurately, because if you do have a parent who needs to sign off on this, they will have to have their information match up exactly. So make sure that you're putting in the name and its spelling is all correct before you submit this. It'll ask you some questions about any benefits your family receives. If you don't recognize something, it probably doesn't apply to you. It's going to ask you some information about what your plans are for next year. You need to put at least 1 school. If you don't know if you'll live on campus or off campus, put on campus for now. It qualifies you for the most, and then you can scale back if you need to. Include any school you're thinking of applying to or have already applied to. It's going to ask you to preview your information, review it, make sure you're sure everything is on there correctly the way that it should be, and then it's going to have you sign it digitally by filling out some basic fields right here. You sign it and submit it, and then it will send you to the next step. If you need a parent signature, it will invite you to email them, and your parent will receive an email to start their own account. So they'll have to create their own account. If they have to have everything match with your application in order for it to appear for them. So make sure you're putting in zeros if that's what you put in for their social security number. Make sure you're putting in their name the same way that you wrote it on your application. They're going to review all the information you put in, agree to some disclosures, and then they'll sign it electronically as well. And then you will be able to see on here that it says the status is completed. You won't receive any email confirmation that it's done. So you'll have to come look at this screen in order to know that you've completed all the steps. And that's the WASFA step-by-step. I know I went through that fast. So there's going to be a chance, if you need to look at the slides again, that you have access to that. We also have a way more detailed slideshow that shows you each step broken down to screen by screen, and you can access that if you want to walk through it. Mr. Creeley is going to drop that link in the chat so that you can access that if you want to get started while we're going through the FAFSA application. This is just a reminder that what happens after the WASFA, they'll confirm that it was signed, they'll transfer the information to schools that you requested. You should check your email regularly because schools might be asking you questions for clarification, and you want to make sure you're responding in a timely fashion. And they'll be sending your offers that way. So make sure you're adding an email and checking an email that's current. And I think that's all I wanted to say about Washington. Oh, one thing I just want to mention before I move on is that this only applies to Washington schools. If you qualify for the WASFA, and this is when you're filling out, you can only select Washington schools. And we've made it to our first raffle.
Okay, everyone, I have 21 students signing up, so last chance. Okay. Share screen. Oh, wait. Sorry guys. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. All right. Okay. Spinning. Who's it gonna
This is
be?
so exciting. Who's our raffle winner?
Michaela Rosario. Woohoo! What does she win? What's her first raffle prize? A gift card to. You guys remember?
A
Oh, yeah.
$25 gift card to DoorDash.
Woohoo! We will send it to your email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome. More raffle prizes to win coming up. So don't go anywhere.
All right, so I am going to go over now some information about the FAFSA. So let me pull up that presentation right now. Okay. Is it loaded? Okay.
Yes.
So the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and it's the application that many of you will be completing this year. The first thing you're going to want to do is create an FSA ID if you have not done so already. The link is right here in the slides. You can access the slides, and it'll be dropped in the chat as well, I believe. So that's what you're going to use to log into your account. So once you have that done, you are then going to go to this website at the bottom, studentaid.gov, and you will log in and get started. So much like Ms. Mito said, it's extremely important you select the correct school year that you are applying to. So make sure it's 2021-2022, because this year's application is still open, so it will be an option, but this is the year that you want to choose. So one thing with the FAFSA is it's going to ask you to create a save key. The save key is just a way for you for it to take you right back to where you left off. So if for some reason you need to stop the application and go find information, or you're waiting on your parent to get something for you, you're going to want to write down or remember your save key, because it'll take you back to the correct spot. You'll then go on to this intro page, which has some good resources you can refer back to if you need help. So the student demographics page is where you're going to answer basic information about yourself. It's just really important to make sure everything is really accurate on this page, because it is really hard to go back and fix things after the fact. So things like make sure your name is spelled correctly, correct birth date, and social security number, because once it's in, it's really hard to fix it. So once you enter information about your state residency and citizenship status, you're going to want to select that you're working on your first bachelor's degree. So even if you did Running Start or any other program where you earned college credit, you're still going to select first year never attended college. And that's the way that they're going to view it in terms of financial aid. So even if you've done Running Start for 2 years, you're still going to be considered a first year never attended college student. As far as work study, just say yes, you would like to be considered for work study, because you want to be able to have all the options available to you, and you can always say yes or no to it after the fact. So at this part, you do have to choose either male or female, and if you are male, you are required to register for the selective service, which is also known as the draft. And you can register for that within the FAFSA application itself. It'll take you to it. Registering for it is not joining the military. You're not signing up for the military. It is required by law for you to sign up for the selective service, and you won't be considered for financial aid, unfortunately, if you do not. So now at this part of the application, you're going to search and find Hazen just by looking by name, city, and state. And much is the same with the WASFA. You're going to find all the colleges you are even considering applying to, and that includes any 2, 4-year colleges, trade schools. Don't wait until you've applied or been accepted to put the school names in. You want to put any school that you are even thinking about. So as far as housing plans go, we recommend that you say you plan to live on campus just because it makes you eligible for the most aid. You can change it later if you do decide to live at home. And if you're 100% sure that you're going to be living at home, you can also select with a parent or off campus. But if you're not sure, like 100% of that plan, choose that you plan to live on campus. So if you're a high school student, you're most likely going to be considered a dependent student. And there are some situations where that's not the case, and this part of the application will help you sort that out. So once that's decided, it'll take you to the next correct part of the application. So parent demographics, if you're considered a dependent student, you'll be asked to fill in parent information. So there's some basic things that you'll need from your parents. Their social security number, you'll know their name, their birth date, marital status, and date of marriage, if applicable. If you have a single parent, you're only going to answer questions about that parent. If your parents are divorced, you're going to answer questions about the parent that you live with the most, or the parent that, if it's about even, the parent that provides more financial support. If your parents are married or your parent is remarried to someone else, you're going to provide information about both of those parents. If you have undocumented parents, you're going to enter all zeros for their social security number, and you may need to hit the button 3 times. It's kind of strange, but it will work. So hit the button 3 times. Household size can be a little tricky, but basically you include yourself, your parents, any siblings who receive half of their support from the parents, and also any other adults in the household that live with your parents and are also financially supported by the parents. So that might be like grandparents, etc. So there's this cool tool within the FAFSA application that if your parents have filed taxes in the previous tax year, they can use the IRS data retrieval tool to just import all of their information. And if it's an option for you, definitely do it because it makes things a lot easier. If for some reason it doesn't work, like sometimes it just doesn't work and maybe some little piece of information doesn't match, that's not a problem. That's why you want to have all your tax forms ready to go just right next to you. Or if your parents are undocumented, you won't be able to use the data retrieval tool either, but there's an easy solution for that. And that's over the next 4 pages, where this is where you would enter various income related things that may or may not apply to you. So if in general, you don't know what it is and your parent doesn't know what it is, it probably doesn't apply to you. There's a little question mark next to each of the boxes that will tell you where on your tax forms to find that information too. So there's a question that asks your parents to estimate the balance of their checking and savings accounts, or it asks them what the balance is. It's totally okay to just estimate. It's not too common that everybody's bank account stays the exact same balance all the time. So it can just be a general estimate. This page also goes over a lot of different real estate questions that the little question circle box will be very helpful for. So if you have questions about this, we can answer them individually. So student financial information is just about your own finances. Most high school students don't earn enough money to have to pay and file taxes. So if you haven't filed taxes and you don't have your own bank account, you can put 0 for any of these. If you do want to enter it, but similar to your parents, if it's something that you don't know what it is and you're not sure if it applies to you, it probably does not. So this is important just to know that in this section, when it's talking about child support, it's talking about you as a student. So it's asking, like, do you have a child that you are supporting? If your parents are receiving child support, they'll have answered that in their own section. So this is one that is an easy mistake to make. Okay, so we're getting to the end. There's a question that asks, are you the preparer? You're going to say no, because that's someone who you pay to file it for you. You get to review everything on this page. It's super important to just look at it one more time and make sure everything's right. You're ready to sign, and you'll sign along with just one parent. If you entered zeros for your parent's social security number, you're going to need to print the signature page and mail it, and that's something that we can help you with. And then one thing to note is that just with our current circumstances with COVID-19 and just the economic devastation that it's caused, a lot of families' 2019 taxes aren't exactly representative of their current financial situation. So if that's the case for you, you can totally follow up with the colleges that you're applying to. However, you do need to fill out the FAFSA or WASFA with your current financial or your 2019 financial information before doing so. And that's it for the FAFSA part. And we have another raffle. Who's doing this raffle?
All right, did everyone sign up again? Well, those new ones, if you have not signed up, you're last. Come on. Okay, so let me see, did anyone? Nope, no new signups. And so we will spin the wheel again. So let me share a screen. Here it is. We will spin. Wong, you have won.
Yay.
That's so cool. So festive.
Okay. Was I going to put up the last few slides? I think that was the plan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on just a sec. There we go. Consent. Okay, are we seeing it now? Great. Am I speaking too?
Oh, I could do it. So this is the work time and also questions. If you have questions that you think would be helpful for the entire group that we can answer. I think I saw a question from a student at the bottom about the age and signing up for the service that was answered, and maybe we can share that one out loud. But if you are ready to get started and you have clicked on those links that are available in the chat and in the slides, and you need individual help, go ahead and let Mr. Creeley or Chat Creeley know so that we can put you in a room with a financial aid expert. And also, if you need help in Spanish, we can help out there too if you contact Mr. Creeley. We do have a survey that we would love for you to be able to fill out for us so we know how helpful this was and gauge what we should be doing to move forward with financial aid assistance. So if you could click that link or follow the link either in the slides or in the chat box, that would be fantastic feedback for us so that we can try to do the best we can to give you the best information in a timely fashion. There will also be a question on there about if you want someone to follow up with you. So make sure that you're filling that out if you want someone to make an appointment with you later to help with any questions you may have. And did I see some questions come up, Mr. Creeley?
Yeah, there's one question. So once you finish filling out the financial aid application, how does the aid part come in? Who wants to field that one? So another question similar, what happens after you fill out the FAFSA?
Could we ask one of our financial aid reps from Green River, maybe Sean, would you be able to to take that one for us?
You bet, and maybe Anna can help fill in for me too. This is a great question. So just know, everybody, that when you do your WASFA or FAFSA application, that is just the beginning of the process. So you submit it and you'll get a confirmation email from the Department of Education or from Washington State saying, yay, you submitted your application. But now begins the process where you want to follow up with your schools that you included on your application, because there may be some additional documentation that's needed to verify your application or to clarify or to follow your school's specific process for financial aid. So once you've submitted, you want to make sure you follow up with those financial aid departments. They'll be in communication with you as well, either by email or through their financial aid portal. You want to make sure that any documents they need, you get to them as soon as possible, because that will help keep your application moving along quickly and at the front of the line where you can get the best financial aid. Later on in late winter, early spring, if you're applying early like now, which is great, you should start seeing some award letters coming from your colleges, letting you know what financial aid you're eligible for from that school. And they will be different because every school has different resources. So it's a great opportunity for you to really kind of comparison shop who's offering you what financial aid versus the cost of attending at that school to make the best decision for you. And then there'll be some additional pieces to follow up with how you receive your financial aid. It's usually automatically applied to your tuition when you start. And then the remaining financial aid comes to you, the student, after tuition's paid, to help you pay for books, supplies, housing, transportation, all the other things you need. So that's kind of in a nutshell. Anna, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to add, Sean did a great overview, but the thing that often happens with students is they think that they just need to submit that FAFSA or WASFA application, and that's the only application they need to submit to their college or university. So always remember that you also need to apply for admissions, which is a separate application process. So you need to do both in order to be able to get into the college. So there's 2 different applications for each college or university.
Yeah, and with Renton Tech, if you're thinking about going there, we have drop-in Zoom advising sessions. So you're welcome to join that, and you can talk to an advisor or talk to a financial aid advisor. Because at Renton Tech, we also need students to clarify their program of study, and there's a financial aid data sheet we need them to fill out. So please be checking your email and reach out to us if you have any questions. But yeah, just to echo Green River, just applying is not enough. There are going to be additional steps at every school.
I see the next question had popped up there, I think, in response to what I had said for the WASFA. So yes, the FAFSA is national. If you're filling out the WASFA, that one only applies to Washington colleges and state, but the FAFSA is national. Financial aid experts, please correct me if I am not stating that correctly.
Perfect. And what's really cool about this year is we now have the new Washington College grant, which means more families at more income levels get more money. So that is an incentive to stay at a college or university in Washington State, because it is likely that you will get a lot more funding this year.
Excellent.
I also know that if and I'm not the expert on this, but there's also, if you are a student who has been in the foster care system, there's also an additional funding that you can qualify for. That's so you'll fill out the FAFSA, but then there's an additional funding option as well. So if you are currently or been in foster care, definitely reach out to your financial aid offices or your advisors to learn more about that additional funding.
There's another question. So it happens once you get accepted. So I'm assuming that the aid comes in once you get accepted. I think that's what the person was asking. So I want to field that question.
Yeah, so just to reiterate what Sean said earlier, you get your offer letter. Typically we would do physical letters in the mail, but this year, depending on what happens with COVID, it might be an email that you get. Or it might just be something in a portal that you have attached to the college or university that you are looking at attending, and you'll get that in the springtime. So typically in March or April, that's when those financial aid offer letters will come through, and then it is up to the student to decide which school they want to attend and if they want to accept or decline certain types of aid. And there will be action steps that they will need to take in order to accept that aid from that school and commit whether they want to attend that school or not. And then that will get them on the process of being able to receive it for the fall.
Great.
So the next question is, how does CSS profile work?
I am not sure we know what CSS is.
No.
Does any of our experts know what that is referring to?
I can speak to it a little bit. It's not something that we use at Green River, and Chelsea, I don't think that Renton does either. But some colleges
doesn't either.
No, okay, thanks, Jennifer. Good to see you. So it's an additional application that some colleges use to help connect students to other types of financial aid. It's in addition to your FAFSA or WASFA. So check with your college to see if they require or ask you to do a CSS application for their other forms of aid. Sometimes there is a fee to do a CSS application, but you may also be able to get that fee waived based on your circumstances. So I'm sorry we don't know more about it because it's not something that we use, but I do know that other colleges do, and it's meant to be an additional aid application for you.
Yes, the CSS profile is in addition to the financial aid application. It goes a little bit more in depth in terms of trying to learn a little bit more about the family background, history, and financial situation. So it's used by a set number of colleges. Usually, if you're applying for more of the prestigious schools, they would require the CSS profile. You would apply through the College Board. There is about a $25 fee to submit your CSS profile. And then there's a list of colleges on the College Board as well that has the list of the schools that do accept that or do need that. And you can always contact the school directly if they have a code that you can use to cover the fee to send that information over. So if you are thinking about applying to some of the schools that have the CSS profile, make sure that you complete it conjunctly with the financial aid application to make sure that they have a better overview of, what kind of financial aid that they can offer you.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen.
Oh, and if you are on free reduced lunch, I have fee waivers that will also cover that. So reach out if you are applying and you do need it.
Okay. I think at this time, what we're going to do is change the chat to private. So if you have individual questions about your circumstances, I'm going to change the chat to private, and you can chat directly with Mr. Creeley, in this case, and then he will let me know if I need to send you into a breakout room with one of our experts. We invite you to stay on and start working on your applications so that as you are doing that, if you arrive at any new questions you didn't know you're going to have, we will still be here to help you work through that.